This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening all, I'm Shishina Roll. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, the cellular phone market is now liberalized and the economic potential of this market is projected to benefit the country well into the future. While the government will have a hand in the new company, Cable Bahamas will maintain management control. Natalia Hall explains.
NewCo, the newest mobile network in the Bahamas, is gearing up to officially launch their cellular network. A special event was held on Friday evening to open their new administrative and call center in the Cable Bahamas building on East Atlantic Drive in Freeport. NewCo's brand is now called Alive. Director of Customer Care Allison Lavardi says 20 cell sites are on Grand Bahama. She says their wireless network is larger and even stronger than it was prior to Hurricane Matthew.
Install our core redundancy system in Grand Bahama. This ensures that there is no single point of failure for our systems. Alive's independent network successfully placed its first call in mid-September, and since then, we have continued to expand our accomplishments.
Lavardi says the company believes that they are entering the market with an advantage.
The systems that we have invested in are flexible and adaptable. This will allow us to meet the changing needs of our market.
The Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, the Deputy Leader of the F&M, Peter Turnquatz, the General Manager, Richard Stanton, the Director of Customer Care, Allison Lavardi, and Corporate Sales Manager, Denise Adderley, all participated in the cutting of the ribbon. The Minister for Grand Bahama says the Cellular Liberalization Task Force was formed with the objective of charting the way forward for the cellular industry in the country.
A historic initiative, the liberalization of cellular industry in the Bahamas, is another fulfillment of this administration and to fulfill what is necessary for the necessary competition in the communication sector, as well as to provide affordable and accessible access to mobile broadband technology for everyone in the country. As Minister for Grand Bahama, I'm excited to be a part of this official opening of NewCo's Freeport Administrative Office and Call Center. Today's opening is a reminder that despite the devastating effects of Hurricane Matthew, economic development and job creation is paramount to the economic resurgence of our local economy.
Darville adds that the government of the Bahamas remains committed to creating employment opportunities for Bahamians.
The opening of this administrative office, this call center, represents a major investment into our local economy and the creation of new jobs and opportunities for approximately 30 Grand Bahamians. You are to be commended for your efforts on our island.
Following his address, all of the new employees were presented with certificates. It's Talia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Grand Bahama continuing an age-old tradition in paying respects to war veterans. The annual Remembrance Day service was held yesterday afternoon at the Mary Star of the Sea Catholic Church. Sabrina Brown has more.
The Remembrance Day observance began with a march through the streets of Grand Bahama by various youth organizations. The Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, other government officials and residents from across Grand Bahama attended the annual event in honor of those valiant men and women who gave the ultimate sacrifice during World Wars I and II. Archdeacon Harry Bain delivered the sermon. He stated that it is important that we remember the past in order to look to the future with hope. He said, as we reflect on the past, we must all seek to make the world a more peaceful place.
In remembering the past, we should pledge and commit ourselves today to the important and necessary task of being peacemakers and praying for peace of a world darkened by sin and violent conflicts. For happy are those who work for peace.
But as the world searches for peace, Archdeacon Bain added that only God can give the peace that surpasses all understanding.
To our north, our neighbors are protesting the results of their election, protesting the indiscriminate shooting of unarmed black men. In the United Kingdom, after results of Brexit Foreign nationals are being targeted. In Colombia, a peace agreement was rejected. We look to elected officials to bring peace, but oftentimes all they do in the Bahamas is divide us and set us up one against the other, while they themselves have a good time.
As the island continues to recover from Hurricane Matthew and as we celebrate the lives of those who gave service above self, Father Bain encouraged everyone to give unselfishly.
The neighbor or the business owners who give guided by a Christian obligation and not the desire to make the television news or newspaper headlines. I've never seen so many persons who want to make the paper just because of what they do for others.
During the ceremony, the flags of nations were lowered and wreaths were laid at the altar in memory of the fallen war veterans. Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
17 Haitian migrants, 7 males and 10 females, including 4 minors, were handed over to local authorities this weekend. The group was intercepted at sea in a failed attempt to reach the United States. The migrants told local officials that they paid between $3,000 and $5,000 to be smuggled to the U.S. They further claimed that the vessel ran out of fuel and they were adrift at sea for at least 5 days before being picked up by the United States Coast Guard. According to the migrants, the sea was very rough and they prayed to God to spare their lives. Reports say the vessel reportedly left Freeport on Friday, November 4th with 23 persons on board, 21 Haitian nationals and 2 Bahamian males. Now, the Bahamians believed to have been the smugglers were detained by U.S. officials for possible charges of human smuggling, along with 4 Haitian nationals as material witnesses. The 17 migrants that were brought to Grand Bahama are expected to be flown to the capital to await repatriation. Meantime, immigration officers locating a group of migrants at a local resort in the Wakayan area who are making preparatory steps to be smuggled into the United States. The 11 persons, 5 Ecuadorian men, 4 Ecuadorian females, and 2 Brazilian females, had all overstayed their visitor status, and they did not seek to get an extension. The migrants told officials that they traveled to the Bahamas for the purpose of being smuggled by boat to the U.S. And today is World Diabetes Day. It is the largest global awareness campaign focusing on the effects of the disease and the many complications associated with it. This morning, a special seminar was held in the foyer of the Rand Memorial Hospital. Diabetes is a dreaded disease that has affected the lives of many Bahamians. On this World Diabetes Day, many doctors, nurses, practitioners, and other stakeholders gathered to discuss the prevention, detection, and effects of diabetes. During his opening remarks, the Minister for Grand Bahama, Dr. Michael Darville, shared that while lifestyle and genetic predisposition are 2 major factors, healthcare providers must also pay special attention to obesity and the youth population.
I've spent the bulk of my career here on the island of Grand Bahama working to turn the road from the chronic nature of the illness to those who can live with diabetes with a relatively decent lifestyle. I take diabetes awareness, prevalence, prevention, and treatment very seriously.
He says that the government understands the effects of this illness and its implications.
We must realize that we must find revenue within the system to focus more specifically on diabetic education. And with the launch of universal primary health care, we are confident that with our educational teams that would be implemented with primary health care, we would definitely, for the first time in our country's history, devote a substantial amount of revenue for diabetic education.
In giving an in-depth and comprehensive presentation on diabetes and how it affects the eyes, Dr. Dawn Russell, Herman's consultant and ophthalmologist at the Princess Margaret Hospital, gave some startling statistics. She says there has been some 36,000 reported cases of diabetes in 2015. She says globally, diabetes is having a major impact on many people.
There are 415 million people with diabetes in the world. Of this, more than 44 million live in this region of North America and the Caribbean. Diabetes caused 300,000 deaths in 2015 alone, and over 1/3 of those were people under the age of 60. By 2040, the estimation is that the numbers will rise to about 60.5 million, which is quite significant.
The doctor adds that this is why the goal is to create a national screening program and continue the dialogue on diabetes and its effects. Stay with us, the Bahamas Tonight. The Northern Edition continues right after this.